You felt it the moment the guy behind the counter looks up from your motor and says a number, and your stomach drops because you have no real way to know if it's true. Maybe it is. Maybe you just got taken for $800 and you'll never find out. That feeling isn't bad luck. It's the whole business model, and it works for one reason. You walked in not knowing what the repair should cost, and they knew you didn't. I'm going to take that away from them. By the time we're done, you'll know the 5 repairs they overcharge you on the most, the exact move they pull on each one, and the number that tells you the second you're being robbed. And number 5 is the one that's going to sting, because it's the cheapest part on your whole motor. It's the one they pad the hardest, and you've almost certainly already paid it. We'll get there. Let's start with the repair nearly every owner gets hit with sooner or later, the one with the widest gap between what it costs them and what lands on your bill. Number 5, the impeller and water pump. Every outboard needs this done. The impeller is a little rubber pump down in the lower unit that pushes cooling water through your engine. It wears out around every 100 hours or once a season, and replacing it is just normal maintenance. That's exactly what makes it the most overcharged job on the water. They know you'll need it. They know the word overheating scares you, and they're betting you have no idea how long the job really takes. So let me hand you the number they don't want you holding. The National Flat Rate Guide, the same kind of book a straight shop bills from, puts an impeller replacement at about 1 3/4 hours. That's the honest time, in writing, industry standard. Now, here's what real owners actually get quoted. One guy called his dealer and got told 2 hours of labor, $220, for a job he'd seen described all over as 15 to 30 minutes of real work. Another watched his own mechanic swap his impeller in under 5 minutes with him standing right there. And when the experienced guys weighed in on that quote, one of them didn't dance around it. He said the dealers just try to pad his time for a slow economy. That's the move on this one. It's not a fake repair. You really do need the impeller. They rob you on the clock. You get billed 3 hours on a job their own book says runs under 2, and on an easy motor takes a fraction of that. Then they stack a second charge on top, the part itself. One owner got hit $75 for an impeller he found online afterward for $25. Double on the time, double on the part, on a job you'll be paying for again and again the whole time you own this boat. One sentence at the counter shuts it down. Ask how many hours they're billing and what the part costs. If you hear 3 hours for an impeller on a trailerable motor, you now know that's nearly double the book. And you get to ask why. A fair shop owner has an answer. A salt-seized lower unit that fights them is a real one. A padded bill just goes quiet. And that quiet is your tell because it shows up again on the next repair, where the part is even cheaper and the trick is even sneakier. Number 4, the thermostat. This one actually makes people laugh once they know because the thermostat is about the cheapest part on the entire engine, usually $20 to $60, and on most outboards, it sits right under a little cover held on by 2 bolts. Once that cover's off, swapping it takes a few minutes, which is the whole reason it gets hidden from you. They don't hit you with a wild labor quote on this one. They bury it. The thermostat gets folded into a big cooling system surface or tacked onto a water pump job, so that tiny part vanishes inside a fat total and you never see how little it really was. One owner got handed a combined cooling job at $220 in parts and $350 in labor. He pushed back on the labor and the shop knocked it down to $300 right there on the spot. Think about what that means. If a number drops $100 the instant you question it, it was never a real number to begin with. It was air, and they were hoping you'd just sign it. So you make them pull it apart, ask what the thermostat part costs and how much labor for that one job by itself on its own line. The moment a shop has to itemize, the padding's got nowhere left to hide. A thermostat is an hour of labor at the absolute most on a normal motor, plus a cheap part. Anything dressed up past that, you question. The same way you're about to question a job 10 times the size. And this is the part they're counting on. You're the only one in that conversation who doesn't already know what the job costs. They've got the number memorized and you're guessing, and that gap is the entire game. That's the exact thing I built the Outboard Repair Defense Guide to erase. It's a plain, no-nonsense breakdown of what every common repair should actually cost you. parts, and labor, the specific padding move they pull on each one, and the jobs you can knock out yourself for the price of the part. It's linked down in the description. Stop one overcharge and it's paid for itself 20 times over. And the folks who go hunting for it after the shop already called, they're too late. Grab it before you need it. Now let's get into the one where the numbers stop being annoying and start getting scary. Number 3, the lower unit. This is where overcharging turns genuinely expensive because the lower unit is the priciest chunk of the motor to crack open. And that fear is the lever they pull on you. Here's what almost no owner walks in knowing. The phrase, "you need a lower unit," is hiding 3 completely different jobs at 3 completely different prices. And they're counting on you not knowing which one you actually need. The cheap one is a reseal. Just the seal that keeps water out and oil in. A few $100s when you catch a leak early. The middle one is a rebuild for when water got inside and chewed up the gears. The expensive one is replacing the whole gear case. And the play is to quote you the expensive job for a problem the cheap job would have solved. A simple leak gets written up as a rebuild. A rebuild gets written up as a full replacement. The real numbers expose it fast. A seal kit itself runs $30 to $80. A reseal at a shop is a few hundred. But hold on to this one. An owner got a replacement quote so high the experienced boaters who looked at it flat out called it over the top, when the actual gear case ran about $3,500 and bolting a complete unit on is roughly an hour of labor. He was being steered onto the most expensive road there is, on a repair where a quality aftermarket unit would have saved him thousands. 3 questions guard your wallet here. And on a job this size, they can move the bill by thousands. Ask if a reseal would fix it. Ask them to show you the damage that justifies a rebuild, the metal in the oil, the chewed up gears, with your own eyes. Ask them what a quality remanufactured gear case runs against a brand new factory one. A fair shop answers all of that without flinching. A shop that's reaching for your wallet suddenly gets vague. And vague is exactly what you're going to hear on number 2. Except now, there's 5 figures riding on it. Number 2, the "you need a powerhead" verdict. This is the big one, the 5-figure gut punch. And it's the repair where guessing wrong costs you the most money you'll ever hand in the shop. The powerhead is the engine itself, the heart of the motor. And when they tell you it's done, they're dropping a decision worth thousands in your lap and watching to see if you'll just nod. So this is the one you slow all the way down on. The trick is as old as it gets. It's the verdict with nothing behind it. They tell you the powerhead's shot, they quote you a rebuild or a whole new motor, and they never show you one shred of proof that the powerhead is even the problem. Mechanics actually have a name for the lazy version of this. They call it firing the parts cannon. You throw the most expensive likely part at it and hope, instead of testing to find the real cause. And you, the customer, pay for every wrong guess along the way. And the thing is, proving a powerhead is actually bad is cheap and simple. It's a compression test, about $30 in tools. It reads the health of every cylinder and it's the evidence the whole repair stands on. So if a shop says you need a powerhead and they can't or won't show you the compression numbers cylinder by cylinder, they're asking you to spend thousands on faith. One honest shop sums up their entire approach in 3 words. We test, we don't guess. That's the bar. Anybody who can't clear it hasn't earned $1 from you. There's a second half to this that saves people even more. Even when the powerhead really is gone, that still doesn't automatically mean you fix it. The pros use a simple rule. If the repair runs 40% or more of what a new motor installed would cost, you're usually smarter replacing the engine than pouring thousands into an old one. So a shop that quotes you a $4,000 rebuild and never once mentions that a repower might be the better money isn't looking out for you. They're looking out for the bill. Before you approve anything with the word powerhead in it, you get the compression numbers in your hand. You ask for every option, including a remanufactured unit, and you run that 40% rule yourself. That one pause has saved owners more than any other moment in this whole video. And it sets up the last one, which is the sneakiest of them all, because on number 1, the cheapest fix on the motor is dressed up to look like the most expensive. Number 1, the electrical mystery. The repair you're most likely to get robbed on isn't the biggest part on the motor. It's the one where a $5 fix and a $2,000 fix look exactly the same from the outside. And they play that confusion like a fiddle. Electrical. Here's why it's the worst of the lot. When your motor won't charge, or won't start, or just dies on you, that same symptom can come from a corroded connection worth a few dollars, or from a computer worth $2,000. You can't tell which from the outside. Neither can a lazy tech, and a dishonest one doesn't want to. That makes electrical the easiest place on the entire motor to sell you a giant part for a tiny problem. The move is to jump straight to the costly component, a stator, a rectifier, the whole computer, and skip the cheap checks that would have caught it. But listen to what the guys who actually do this for a living say, because they all say the same thing. Check the cheap stuff first. Cables, grounds, connections. Here's one that should stick with you. An owner was dead certain he needed a rectifier, a real charging part that costs real money. Turned out the actual problem was corroded connections at the battery, at the switch, at the motor. The whole fix was cleaning them up and adding a little dielectric grease. Not one expensive part. The most common failure in any marine electrical system is also the cheapest thing on it to fix. A bad connection. And it's the first thing an honest tech checks, and the first thing a crook skips right past. The single most expensive mistake on this entire list is a computer swapped in on a guess. $2,000 of part, when the real culprit was a sensor or a ground or a corroded plug that a wire brush in 10 minutes would have fixed. So your guard on number one is simple and you hold it firm. Before you approve any pricey electrical part, you make them check the cheap stuff first. The cables and grounds and connections, with a meter, in front of you. And you never approve a computer off a hunch, not once. So that's the 5 they come after you for. And I want you to notice what ties every single one of them together, because it's the real lesson here. On all 5, the shop is the only one in the room who knows what the job should cost. And the second you walk in knowing it too, the whole thing falls apart in your favor. That's it. That's the entire trick. And it only works in the dark. You don't have to become a mechanic to beat this. You just have to stop being the easiest guy in the room to overcharge. Knowing what these jobs really run and which ones you can handle yourself on a Saturday is the whole difference between dreading that phone call and picking it up calm. Because you already know the number before they say it. I put all of it, every common repair, every move they pull, every real price, into the Outboard Repair Defense Guide. And it's sitting in the description waiting for you. Whatever breaks on your motor next, you walk in knowing exactly what it's worth. I'll see you in the next one.